Well, hello there, Grit Eberhardt. It's great to meet you today on the Red Couch Talk.
Hello, Angie. It's really nice. Thank you for the invitation. Looking forward to do that.
I see that you're wearing your iconic yellow again, which, I already noticed when we bumped into each other in Leipzig last year first. What's up with
That's
that?
the that's the color I love, and it started with the cards, the usual cards. I was thinking about color, and then I realized I choose that color because I really love that.
Uh-huh.
And later on, I checked. Oh, this is for inspiration. This is for sunny days. This is for being bright and with joy, and that's why I really stick to it because that's also what I stand for. So I love the color, and it gives me always attention because there are not so many people wearing yellow.
And not many people can wear yellow without looking weird.
Okay.
So you
That's
can
true.
you can wear yellow really well. So it's kind
Thanks.
of it's a part of your brand, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And what about a fun fact about you other than your favorite color that people won't be able to read on the internet to get us a bit warmed up?
A fun fact. I don't know whether it's funny, but once I had a coaching, the lady, they just by the middle of the conversation or the third conversation, she stated, so at all the risks and adventures you take, so you first throw your heart above the fence and all the rest have to follow. And I realized and I thought, yeah, it's basically that's it. It's very often that I really want something and I go for it, I throw my heart over the fence, and then afterwards I realize all the follow up things I have to fulfill or I have to run or I have to do, and I think, oh, whether I should have thought that better over. But sometimes it's me. I if I have, I'm how do you say Widder in English?
Capricorn?
The
Yeah.
no, that's it's not Taurus. That's the Aries. So I'm Aries, and I'm just kind of proud of being with the stubborn image. I think it's part of my, and whenever I really stick to my opinion, so that's also part of funny thing where people sometimes they love about me, and I'm kind of that.
So if you are Aries, you had your birthday recently, is that correct?
Yeah, end of March.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Can never say congratulations enough when it's about birthdays. Now,
Okay.
now one thing that just crossed my mind, um, when you said throw your heart above the fence. When I left my managerial job, which is now, 16 years ago, um, like you send like a farewell email to your colleagues, and I titled mine, Sometimes a Woman Has to Follow Her Heart. And then,
Okay.
everybody was thinking, I'm going to follow a man somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And next line I wrote, I'm going to start my own business. So, it really depends, where the heart takes you. And for some of us, it's, a relationship, moving across the world. And for others, it's starting a business. And
Yeah.
you, I think, you do
I
that,
did
you did
both.
all of that. You also
Yeah.
went across the world. So tell us about your journey.
Well, I mean, I grew up in East Germany, and I don't know where I got that from, but I felt this need of being and traveling and being out of this kind of limiting space. And as soon as we had the borders open, I really took advantage of that. And so I went to West Germany, changed my study place, and then all of a sudden it was possible to study in England and make an internship in France. So I don't know. That's. I really love internationality and being in other cultures and learning about people, talking in broken English, broken French, or whatever language, or with hearts and hands. And so that's why I really enjoy whenever I am in another country. And in the middle of my career, I also thought, well, I would love to work as an expat in Spain, was my objective. And I spoke to the manager and asked, well, I would love to go to Spain. I worked at that time in the automotive industry, and so there were quite a possibilities. And then they came back to me and said, at SEAT is no possibility at the moment, but if you want, in 1 year you could go to Argentina. And I said, oh, that's a challenge. And I said yes, and I was one of the very few women going over there. Most of the project team for this car development went like a man with their families, but I really enjoyed this time, and I learned a lot. About how other cultures really work in terms of workspace, in terms of work relation, in terms of priorities. And I think whenever I spent time abroad, I learned also about the Germans. And it's one of the amazing things what we can really do in our life, at least what I love as being in other countries and cultures.
That's so true, because most of the time we only recognize our own cultural minting or
Yeah.
our own, let's say, cultural values, standards, etc. When we are moving to another country and things are different. So it's often we recognize cultural difference when we sort of when we behave like at home in another culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a very, I guess that was a very life-changing experience for you going to Argentina. Can you tell us a bit about your deeper purpose? Well, would say we're probably in a similar field. You know, we work with executives, and we have a focus on coaching. What is your deeper driver? Have you ever thought about this?
Well, it's going deep now, and I will gonna be honest with you. I mean, it's not all over the place, but I I went through one thing what I really miss today, and that's having not having a family or not having children. And I think that's a huge part due to that I worked a lot. And when I realized then that's kind of and together with also my thinking over of my personal career as being a leadership personality and working in the management of automotive industry, which really consumes a lot of energy, a lot of time. And by a certain moment, I really thought about, is that what's life, or is that what I really want for me, for also for the rest? And then I started thinking, and I took also coachings for myself to really reflect. And one of these things I detected, well, if I would have started before, like defining what has to be in my life to be really happy, and to how do I want to design it, and I think I would have children. I would have children right now. And so one of my really honest, deep purposes is to give people the idea that they can have or they can design their life as they really want it. I mean, not about being millionaire or traveling whatever with an airplane. About that's not what I mean, or having the pool and the house and all this status thing. But really designing, so how do I want to live, and what has to be in it, that when I'm 80, that I'm not let's say, feeling the pity. Oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. Because sometimes things end and it's just not possible anymore, which happened to me with children. And that this is really one of my purposes, to be and to work together with people and design, create what we want to live and really enjoy it. So I learned out of my let's kind of mistakes or experiences, and that's one of my really, how do you say, motivators to especially also to work with women, because we tend to postpone or to think, well, we get hurt somehow or we get seen somehow, and then I get, I don't know, promoted, or I develop later my dreams, or I do my business later, and all these travelings. So I think we postpone too much. And especially as I love adventures, I detected also that I postponed too much.
Yeah, and I think there's a famous book called The Cinderella Complex,
Ah,
and
okay.
sometimes I think it's like this. Most women, and I sometimes have that too, I have to say. We still have this like fantasy idea of that somebody's going to save us from whatever we're going through. And then and I had the same pattern for a long time. Like, I was postponing decisions because I wanted to have a family. I didn't do certain things because I felt, it would be safer now to whatever, try to, invest in a partnership or not go abroad because of this and that, because of my team or because of somebody I would felt like my family members, my elderly family members, etc. So very often, I would like step back instead of moving forward, just to make sure that everybody else is okay. And I think, this is sometimes holding women back. And I feel like it has a bit to do with education, but not for everybody. For some people, there's other reasons, why they became that way, I think, from experience. And
I think,
yeah, go
yeah, I
ahead.
think there are many reasons. It might be the education, it might be even our ancestors, it might be the surrounding in which you work. The thing is, I really stopped searching for reasons as I accompany more avoiding, or let's say overcoming these feelings, this hesitating, to really create and start being courageous, even though I might have fear or I might have, let's say, limitations. But I learned a lot of also of my I did competition sports in sailing, and I really enjoyed that, even getting wet and falling into the water and things like that.
Yeah.
And but once we had the World Championship and we were nominated for Germany in Australia, and it was in the middle of our studies, and there was no way to go there, and no way financial wise, and then I decided, like, internally, I really want to go there. It's the only chance in. And then we started. We really, so we were two people in this boat, in this small boat, and we started saving money, and then kind of really focusing. We want to go there, and finally we went there, and it was really an amazing experience, and enjoying the country, and of course going for youth hostels and things like that to spend not so much. But what I really learned is, when I really want something, I find the way, and it's kind of also what defines me, I think.
So this is what you're working on with your clients?
Yeah,
Like step
that's
out of the comfort zone, the limiting beliefs into like the growth areas where, they can do the
Yeah,
things and they feel
I
empowered to do those things.
I love that once they really detect that they are able of much more than we think of. And
Yeah.
if we stick to the past, as you said, or think about the past, or whatever can holding us back, yeah, it's not gonna happen. And sometimes it's small steps, but just realizing that we are not depending, that we are not um, defined only by our surrounding or by our circumstances, that we really can do. And that's one of the biggest changes. And I love that when people start, how do I want that? How do I want to experience whatever? And yeah, and then start going their way. That's I love that. And finally, there are small changes, there are bigger changes, there are also whatever more time for themselves because they really take care of where to put the focus and priorities, even in their leadership positions or in their own businesses, to not forget that they also want to live.
Based on all the work that you do with women, with executives, with leaders, what would you advise a younger version of yourself?
Maybe, I mean, I was always kind of courageous and trying things out. As I said, I rather do things and then afterwards realizing the consequences. I really would give my younger self and also other women just the idea to make a kind of strategy or make kind of not a plan like one, but a plan what do you want to experience in life? So what do you want to live? And to really start thinking about it and not stopping by the limitations what we are told, maybe even from our families, that this is not possible or this is just you are crazy, start small, don't think too big. That's what I that we really start to dream, even if the dreams are not coming true or through all the dreams. But if we start dreaming, we start moving. So I would recommend that, not to forget our dreams and really go step by step.
Dare to dream and move
Dare,
forward step by step.
dare, dare to dream, yes, exactly. And not getting stopped by having fears. Everybody has fears, or
Oh
let's
yeah,
say, so just go anyway. That's what I would recommend.
that's fantastic. Do you like and use networking as an approach? Do you work on social media? What do you do to, you know, put yourself out there?
All of that. And I also had to come across and go some thoughts about who's reading that and is that interesting enough. But I like networking more than social media. That's honest.
Yeah.
So I really I get energy out of this, let's say, evenings, even if it's let's say a nice day at an fair. We have in Hanover we have often the female works fair. I love that, for instance, or even night events where you meet together. And I also love to create these events. I have some of them I did on myself, and then we talk about a topic like, let's say, putting boundaries or saying no, things like everyday business. And I also love to create these kind of trustful spaces. And because I love how to create, and I also enjoy them whenever I go to these network events. It's just, I think I love this exchange of opinions, of meeting other people, other women, other men, to learn also from their experience and their lives.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people at the moment they miss this kind of, communities of practice, places where you can freely and openly talk,
Yeah,
also share maybe some things that don't work so
yeah,
well, and where you don't know
exactly.
why. Yeah, and very often when you go, like when you feel like you're the only one out there who has certain topics, but
Yeah.
then often this is really really helpful. Like if you share some of the things that you're experiencing in a group. So this is a kind of thing that you offer is like an entrepreneur group, if I understand correctly.
Yes, yes, I have an entrepreneur, yeah, kind of club also,
Uh-huh.
and especially that's what you're saying. It's not, let's say, the nice and shiny. I show the best of me. It's like also being authentic, being honest, and telling also about my, let's say, kind of weaknesses. Some only in our head, but and this mutual empowerment, that's what I really like. I really prefer that, and I inspire also people to do that instead of judging or just evaluating the others because they, whatever, they act differently, they look differently, and to recognize that we are all different. And I love to have and to create these spaces. And I think one of my strengths, also what I got feedback, that I kind of create very quick trust, because I also always go through my life. I go with trust, and and I think that's why it's kind of a gift for me to enable that in a, even if they just recently met in a group.
That
Yeah.
sounds really beautiful. Great,
Thanks,
fantastic.
Angie. Yeah.
And do you want to share anything about, maybe some of your leadership experiences or like an anecdote or something that's a defining moment, something, that might be useful for our listeners?
Well, there were many defining moments. One of I was never like the woman I need to be on the top of the ladder. I was also at the beginning. I was pushed and motivated also from men to take over leadership positions very early in my career, and and yes, in two situations I had kind of a concurrent, competitor, a male competitor who really wanted to have this position. And in one of these situations, he really made my life mad. So it was like sabotaging business issues, and I was really doubting myself whether I can deal with that, and I was doubting also what if the team is on his side or on my side, and I did not have the courage really to speak up and ask. By the end, I think a year later, he left the department, and all the team, let's say, confessed that they are also happy that he left. So I would have had the team, or I had the team behind me, but I never asked. And I think we can have much more trust in our intuition, in our empathic leading, because I think we feel a lot. And it's not always about facts and figures. It's just also that's creating this relationship in a team, so that everybody can rely on the other person. And that's one of my defining moments, because I really went through hell for this within this year. And of course, I also did mistakes, like I delegated something, or it was a task, and then my team member, she came to me and showed me the result, and I was not satisfied at all. And she went into holiday, and then I left it on the table. And when she came back, she still found it on the table. And before I said to her that was urgent. So she really spoke very often not very often, very open to me, that she really felt, let's say, not so nice treated. And so there were some leadership mistakes at the beginning where I went through, and that's why I think I can do such a good work today, because I've experienced most of these cases in my own positions, and it makes it very, let's say, pragmatic. So I'm not the one with a lot of theoretic tools in how to do leadership. I really help people to apply it in every day, and not to hold back or to suffer from certain circumstances.
I was interested and intrigued by what you said about intuition. What I notice with a lot of my clients is that at some stage, we arrive at this point where they feel like strengthened again, they're like in their power again. And suddenly they hear their intuition again. They didn't hear it for a while. Do you have any idea what is happening? And I feel like it's more a topic that women have than men. I don't think men really, but I don't want to go into the gender, like, let's say, I don't want to go into stereotyping, okay? But let's say we have clients that really lose the connection to their inner, like, intuition, to the voice, that good voice that tells them, what to do, the feeling, for the atmosphere, what's going on. Or I would not say that out loud, but very often, you go somewhere and you feel the energy between people, something is off, something is okay. And when you're quite sensitive, you feel those things. And not everybody is like that sensitive. So where do you think it breaks? Why is it not more normal today, like in the corporate world? You work for those huge companies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Huge
Yes.
mistakes happen. Huge mistakes happen. But everybody
think
says in hindsight, yeah, we knew that this was crap. Why is that?
I think because most importance always lays on facts and figures. So I think whenever at least when I entered the career and the corporate world, nobody never ever asked me about feelings, or how do you feel about this situation, or how
Especially
about
not
what
in
is your,
Germany.
no, or
We
how
don't
do
really
you,
know that vocabulary.
um, they might ask about what do you think, but then we are already in our thoughts again and not in our gut feeling what's and it's always like kind of comparison of facts and figures. And if you want to convince somebody, you have to prove, or to, let's say, at least make a analysis how this is going to work out. So, and I think when we enter corporate world, we may have still our intuition, but I think we kind of untrained to use it, because the focus lies completely in a different corner. And so I think if we train it again, we can hear it, we can listen to it, but we have to listen. And I think in most of the companies, there's such a hurry, I'm running to the next meeting, or I'm running to the next client if I'm self-employed or I have my own company. And there are not so many really, let's call it maybe empty spaces or moments where I take myself the time, or I go into and I sit a moment. Sometimes it's just not even half a minute. And I sit and I listen what internally something is, let's say, grounding, or what my stomach tells me. So we just run over it.
Yeah.
And I think by a certain point, when we may have also somebody on our side, I accompanied also one woman from department leader to step above the glass ceiling into next level, and we also spoke about intuition. And I think when we start giving this a little bit more space, and I'm not talking about huge time-consuming things. Mm-hmm. It's just, okay, I give it a focus. So what, when something comes up, what is my first feeling? Is it like, or is it like, oh, it's just small symptoms in our body. And then we give it a little bit space and focus. And then still at the end, you might, when you decide something and it comes out good or bad, then you can still go back to this decision and think about what was that, what my stomach told me. And then if you maybe write it down or make how do you say, Strichliste, this list about, and then you say, oh, the last 10 decisions, I always had this good feeling or bad feeling or right feeling. So I think then you start trusting your own intuition again more, and you take it into consideration. Mm-hmm. But at the very often you need more like self-assurance and maybe also experience in this business or in this area what you're working on. Mm-hmm. And I think when that's what you ask, when you start new in a business or new into a certain area, then you rely more on the others and the experience of the others. Then you are courageous enough to say, oh, my intuition tells me. So that's, I think, it's more like we're getting self-assured, self-confident, maybe also experienced in that area. And this allows us also to step a little bit away only from facts and figures and include our own feeling. Mm-hmm. But still one other step to argument then and to convince others this is due to my feeling. I think that's at the moment not really going to happen.
Now, you still have to provide the data.
Yeah.
The data that covers your feeling. Yeah,
exactly.
Or your intuition. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Grit, this was really an amazing deep dive into a few topics that I find very relevant myself as well. And, I see in the work with my clients too. So do you have anything like a new program coming up or an event that you would like to invite our listeners to? How can they connect with you? What's your methods here?
Well, they can find me wherever in Instagram, which I really want to increase now, and also on LinkedIn. And one of the events which are coming up again is my live events. They can find me and join. I founded the House of Feminine Leaders because I really want to encourage us to rely on our feminine qualities, on our feminine characteristics, and that's also valid for men, because we all have male and female energy, and I think if we use both of them, I think all of us can be more, let's say, balanced, men and women. And that's why I want to create more again this trust in our feminine qualities. And so I work with women or men over a certain period of time. And we do also kind of adventures. So in October, I plan again the sailing trip with a team of women. So there are still some spaces left. And one of my favorites, next year, I will plan also the first Husky leadership tour. That was one of my biggest dreams. I did it 2 years ago, and it was so fantastic and I learned also so much from these dogs and from guiding the sled, what we can apply to leadership, and the same from sailing. There's so many just already metaphors, which are in the business world, but also when you experience it on your own, on yourself, that's a completely different thing, and you really enjoy the sea and the nature, independent if it's snow or water. and I really love that, to connect the experience and the learnings out of what we enjoy, what we live in adventures, and testing our area, what else is possible. And I think personally, when we include more joy, more happiness, and also fun in what we do, and are not so serious, and that's also one of my topics which I still can improve, the world would be much more happier. And that's also one of my purposes.
Oh, lovely. I particularly like the Husky adventure. And
So come and join me.
will you be in Leipzig again in November at the
Yes.
conference? Yeah, I'll probably come too. So I
Okay.
look forward to catching up in person. If you're ever in Zurich, let me know.
My brother lives in Zurich,
We have
so
great cheese fondue here.
I had that already. I
And,
know,
and
and I love that.
a beautiful lake as well for the
Yeah.
summer. Yeah, so let me know if you're ever here. It was fantastic talking to you, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, Angie. I really enjoyed it, and that was so short. Yeah, time quickly running as usual when it's very nice.
I always say
So
that
thank you
time
very
flies
much,
when you're
and
having fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Have a
So thank
great
you very
day.
much. You
Bye.
too.